Did you ever sit down to write and you were stuck for ideas? Well, today I'm telling you that there's a solution to that. And that solution is fairly simple. The inspiration for some of your future writing can come from a simple notebook that I like to call the plot notebook, that's full of inspirational ideas that I call story sparks. So what is a story spark? A story spark is essentially a one line, could be a sentence, or it could just be a few words that serve as inspiration or sparks for when you get stuck. Some examples could come from what you see in the everyday world. A leaf blowing across the yard, a wintry day with the wind blowing and snow coming down, a blizzard in progress, basically. Could be a thunderstorm. It could be something that you see on TV, something that makes you go, that would make a really cool story. So why do we capture these ideas? For several reasons. The primary one being for when we get stuck. I've been writing novels off and on and short stories since 2008. And the problem isn't with your first short story or your second or your third or that first novel that you're so excited to write about. The problem comes later, when you've used up those ideas that you've been thinking about for years. For the mornings, when you wake up with a fresh cup of coffee in hand and you sit down at the keyboard, ready and eager to write, and you go, oh my God, what do I do? So how do you keep plot notebook or is full of story sparks? Well, let me explain that. Fairly simple. Get yourself a notebook, and I'm going to ask you for the next 7 days to give this a try. On the very first page, label it plot notebook or plot book, and on the second page, second full page, write index. And then on the third page, you're going to put today's date. And as you go through the day, you're going to carry this notebook with you. It could be in your backpack. It could be in your purse if you're a woman. It could be something that you keep in your pocket if it's small enough. And as you go through the day, whenever something strikes your fancy, you're going to write one line underneath that date that describes what you're seeing or what your idea is. For example, as I'm filming this, it's a bright sunny day and there are vultures flying above the trees outside my window. So my entry for today might be vultures above the tree line. So on each day of this week, and it would be much better if you did this for the next 30 days so that it becomes a habit. Anytime that you see anything that sparks an idea, jot it down in your notebook and leave plenty of room, because we're going to do more with these story sparks in later videos. The thunderstorm that I talked about earlier could be combined with a documentary that you see on TV about sharks. Do I know that that's where all the Sharknado movies came from? I don't. But they very well could have. So make it a habit, capture at least one spark a day. It doesn't matter if it's a big idea or a small idea. And over time, you'll build a notebook that's full of inspirational ideas. And then as you go about your regular writing on your next great novel or the next great short story, when you get stuck, thumb through this plot notebook that's full of story sparks. I guarantee you that most of the time that it'll spark an idea that you can use to become unstuck. Now, if you enjoyed today's video, please like, subscribe, and comment. And if you made it to the end, there's a bonus. If you look down in the description to this video, you'll see a link to a free workbook that I've put together so that you can download it and work through it if you need some more explanation.